Hi, I'm Matt from SpeakPrac. I recently did the official IELTS test and I scored a Band 9 in speaking. In today's video, I'll share with you how I approached IELTS Speaking Part 2 so you can do the same and achieve a high band score. This video is part of the Ultimate IELTS English Speaking course, and we're going to be answering this fundamental question: what is IELTS Speaking Part 2? And how do you master it like a pro? Now, this isn't just based on theory, this is based on my real-world experience in achieving a Band 9 in speaking. If you're serious about boosting your IELTS speaking score, then you don't want to miss the full course. This video is part of the Ultimate IELTS English Speaking course, and you can get all the video lessons and other materials for free at speakprac.com/IELTS Speaking course. Okay, let's break down what is IELTS Speaking Part 2. Think of Part 2 as your 2-minute spotlight. After you finish the warm-up questions in Part 1, the examiner is going to hand you a card called a cue card, along with a pencil and some paper. On this card, there will be a prompt. It will ask you to describe something, like a person, a place, an object, an experience, or a memory. You get the idea. Below that main prompt, you'll see a few bullet points, usually 3 or 4, with suggestions like who this person was, where you met them, what they do, and explain why they are important to you. Now, here's how the timing works, and this is crucial for the IELTS Speaking Part 2 time limit. You get exactly 1 minute to prepare. You can use this minute to read the card, think, and jot down notes. Then the examiner will say, "All right, you can start speaking now." Your job is to speak on that topic for up to 2 minutes. And I want to stress that phrase, up to 2 minutes. You don't need to stare at a clock and stop at exactly 1 minute and 59 seconds. Your goal is to keep talking fluently and coherently until the examiner gently stops you. In fact, being stopped by the examiner is a good sign. It means you had plenty to say, so try and aim for it. So to recap, for IELTS Speaking Part 2, you get a topic, 1 minute to plan, then 2 minutes to shine in your spotlight moment. It's simple, right? Well, the mechanics are simple, but there are a few common traps that even smart IELTS students fall into. The 3 common traps and how to avoid them. Over the years, I've seen 3 main reasons why students stumble in Speaking Part 2. I call them the 3 traps. Trap number 1, the 60-second sprint. This is when a student looks at the 4 bullet points, treats them like a checklist, says 1 or 2 sentences for each, and then runs out of things to say after just 60 seconds. They look up at the examiner, who is just waiting there patiently, and that awkward silence feels like an eternity. This damages your fluency score because it shows you can't sustain a long turn of speech. Trap number 2, the robot reader. This happens in the 1 minute prep time. A student tries to write down full sentences or even a whole paragraph. Then, when it's time to speak, they're not talking, they're reading. Their voice becomes flat, they lose all natural intonation, and they sound like a robot device giving directions. This kills your score for pronunciation and fluency because natural connected speech is totally gone. Trap number 3, the I know nothing panic. The examiner hands you a card that says, describe an interesting law in your country, and your mind just freezes. A law? I'm not a lawyer, I know nothing. This panic makes you hesitate and doubt yourself before you even begin. So what's the secret here? The secret is this. The examiner doesn't care if you're a legal expert. They just want to hear you use English to talk about the topic. So how do we avoid all these traps and turn your 2-minute spotlight into a masterful performance? We need a better system, that's for sure. The topic diamond, your ultimate IELTS speaking part 2 structure. This is where we change the game. I want you to stop seeing those bullet points on the card as a cage that you have to stay inside. Instead, I want you to see them as the scaffolding, not the cage. What do I mean by that? Scaffolding around a building helps you build something, but it isn't the building itself. The bullet points are there to help you, to give you ideas, but they're not actually mandatory. The only thing you must talk about is the main topic at the top of the card. So if the bullet points work for you, great, use them. But if one of them feels awkward or you have nothing to say, did you know that you can ignore it and substitute it with something better? So how do we do this effectively? We need a reliable system. Think of it as your ultimate IELTS speaking part 2 template. It's a simple, flexible framework I call the topic diamond. Why a diamond? Because just like a real diamond, your part 2 response needs to shine under pressure. It needs to be structured from every angle and leave a lasting impression. The topic diamond gives you a strong, balanced shape to organize your thoughts. So you don't just survive the 2 minutes, you sparkle. Just like a diamond. Imagine a diamond with 4 key points, plus a core in the middle. The topic is your core. Now the 4 key points, here's what they are. 1, the past. Talk about the history or background of the topic. How did you first encounter it? What was it like before? 2, the present or a description. Describe it as it is now. What are its key features? How do you use it or interact with it today? 3, the future. What are your future plans related to this topic? How might it change? What do you hope will happen? 4, your opinion and feelings. You can talk about why is it important? How does it make you feel? And what impact has it had on you? This diamond structure gives you a logical, flowing story to tell. You're not just answering a list of questions, you're taking the listener on a journey through time and emotion. And what's beautiful about this topic diamond is that you can pretty much talk about absolutely anything that is thrown at you during the IELTS speaking part 2. The topic diamond in action. All right, theory is great, but let's see this IELTS speaking part 2 template in action. Let's see how the topic diamond works. Okay, so imagine the examiner hands me this cue card. Describe a useful skill you learned. You should say what the skill is, how you learned it, why you learned it, and explain why this skill is useful. Now, during this time, I'll be writing down all the notes that I can think of using the topic diamond and also using the bullet points to give me some ideas. Okay, my 1 minute prep time starts now. Okay, let me think of a skill. Oh, I make these videos. Okay, let me use the skill of video editing. Okay, the topic diamond, let's talk about the past. Oh yes, I remember the background to it. It was that I was clumsy and I used basic software. I watched all of these different tutorials and it was frustrating at first. On my old job, present or description. Oh yes, now I use pro software and I'm much more faster, more creative, complex, yes, but powerful. oh yes, now I actually want to learn more advanced animation and special effects to make my videos pop, and maybe a proper online course would help. And my opinion and feeling about all this is, oh, video editing certainly is an invaluable skill. It's super useful, and oh, it just feels great creating something. Woo! Time's up. Whoa! See how my notes aren't full sentences? They're just keywords organized around my topic diamond. They're my prompts, not my script. Now let's start the 2-minute talk. Okay, so I'd like to talk about a skill that has become incredibly important in my life over the last few years, and that is video editing. Thinking back to the past, my journey with it was quite a clumsy one. I started with very basic software that came with my computer, and honestly, it was very frustrating. I remember spending hours on YouTube watching tutorial after tutorial, just trying to figure out how to do simple things like add text or cut clips together smoothly. I initially learned it from a previous job where I had to create some simple promotional videos, so it was born out of necessity more than passion at first. As for the present, well, things have changed dramatically. I now use a much more professional piece of software, which, by the way, is amazing, and it allows me to be far more creative and efficient. I use this skill literally every single week to produce the videos for this channel. It's a complex tool for sure, with a steep learning curve, but the level of control it gives me over the final product is just fantastic. Looking ahead to the future, my goal is to dive deeper into the more advanced side of things. I really want to learn how to create sophisticated animations and special effects. I've been considering taking a structured online course to really push my abilities to the next level, so that's definitely on the horizon for me. Ultimately, for me, this skill is more than just useful. It's empowering. In today's world, being able to communicate visually is a huge advantage, both professionally and personally. It's a creative outlet that allows me to take ideas from my head and turn them into something tangible that I can share with people. That feeling of creating something polished from a bunch of raw files is incredibly rewarding. And that's why it's such an important skill to me. And stop. See, I spoke for nearly 2 minutes, hit all the key points, told a personal story, and I never felt like I was going to run out of things to say. The IELTS Speaking Part 2 structure provided by the topic diamond made it flow naturally. I could have easily kept going. And I want to be very clear. There was no magic there. That wasn't about me having a special talent. It was about having a system. A system gives you confidence, and confidence unlocks your voice. And remember, anyone can speak English. I believe that, and that means you can do it too. With the right framework, like the topic diamond, you can tell your stories just like that. Your training plan for success. So how do you get this good? You practice. As I said, this isn't magic. It's a technique that you need to train like a muscle. First, start slow. Find a list of real IELTS Part 2 topics online. And I've actually got a video coming up which describes and gives you a whole list of IELTS Part 2 topics. For your first few attempts, give yourself 3 minutes to plan using the topic diamond, not just one. Get comfortable with the framework. Gradually reduce your prep time. Once you're comfortable with 3 minutes, try 2 minutes, then 90 seconds, until you can confidently map out your key ideas in 60 seconds. And remember, you're not writing full sentences and full paragraphs during that note-taking prep time. And this is non-negotiable. Record yourself. Use your phone's voice recorder, or use my app that I created, SpeakPrac, which helps you do just this. Speak for 2 minutes, then listen back. you'll be amazed at what you hear. You'll notice the small grammar mistakes, the hesitations, the ums and the uhs. Awareness is the first step to improvement. Your goal, my friends, is to be able to take any Part 2 topic and within 1 minute have a clear diamond-shaped plan that you can talk about confidently for 2 minutes. So let's recap our game plan. We learned that Part 2 is your 2-minute spotlight. We identified the 3 traps, and most importantly, you now have the topic diamond, a powerful IELTS Speaking Part 2 template that gives you a clear structure to talk fluently. If you found this video helpful, there's more waiting for you at speakprac.com/IELTS Speaking course. There you'll find everything you need, including all the videos from the Ultimate IELTS English Speaking course. I've got resources and everything's for free. You now have the topic diamond for how to answer IELTS Speaking Part 2. It's the exact framework that I personally use to help me achieve a Band 9 in speaking. But you still might ask yourself, what are they going to ask for Part 2? Well, you might think that the kinds of cue cards they ask are random and unpredictable. But that's not truly the case. I found that there are actually certain patterns, and the cue cards and questions they do ask for Part 2 actually fall into some predictable categories. In the next video, we'll break down the most common topic categories for IELTS Speaking Part 2, including some recent questions from real exams. When you understand these patterns, it'll give you a lot more confidence so that when you walk into the exam room, you'll be ready for anything.